right after this, and we need to make sure we're on point. It looks
Yeah.
like we're live on YouTube and Facebook, Chris. I'm just going to take a moment and start double checking all over the place and then share it out.
How's my hair look, by the way?
Oh, it's fabulous.
Thank you.
I should have asked for your help with getting ready today.
Mine's easy.
Yours is easy. Yeah.
Too easy.
Men do tend to have it easier. That is for sure. Almost done sharing. I see some people hopping off and giving us some comments. Stay with me as I get us going.
Okay.
Third corner. All right, we are done sharing over here, so I can finally get us started. Good morning and happy Thursday to everybody. I see a lot of you already are starting to tune in with us. Thank you for being on time and joining us for another live broadcast. I am Juliet Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And if you are coming back to us, thank you. If you're a newcomer, be sure that you hit the like button, hit the follow, so you can get those alerts when we do go live or post additional content your way. We are also on a variety of social media channels. So at the same time that we are streaming this on YouTube, we are on Facebook and on YouTube. So on YouTube, that's Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And then of course on Instagram and Twitter at Westy Chamber. Be sure to link with us on those other platforms, because sometimes we post content out there that's not the same as what we do on Facebook and our YouTube accounts. Videos are available to you for replay at any point in time. You can find it on the video section of this Facebook page. And you can also find it on our COVID Resource Hub page. That's westminsterchamber.biz, COVID-19-update, of course, on the YouTube channel that I mentioned to you as well. Now, a lot of you have started hopping on, and you know I love to give shout outs. So make sure that you give me a thumbs up so I can see you, because sometimes it doesn't alert me on who you are that's tuning in. And when you give comments, I like to give you comments back. So I see Councilor DeMott on here with us. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for tuning in to our nonprofit corner. Now, this feature is available to each and every one of you. If you hear something that's beneficial, you didn't know, type that in. We want to know what you picked up. If you want to give us compliments, you know, Chris was asking me how fantastic his hair looked today. Go ahead and let us know that. More importantly, if you have questions, because this is an engaging broadcast, as many of you are aware, I like to talk a lot and I like to make sure you are with us even though we're virtual. So give us those comments and questions so that we can take those up at the very end. Now, today's feature is a nonprofit corner. You know, we reserve our Thursdays for nonprofits, and we've been able to have a variety of our nonprofit partners on here, from a Precious Child to school foundations like the Westminster Public Schools Foundation, the Jeffco Public Schools Foundation, ARC Thrift Stores, and so many more. So be sure that you're engaging, tuning in, because these nonprofits are doing so much during the time of COVID that they naturally do, but they've already also found ways that they can add more and service the community. So I'm really excited to continue to highlight them. Today's group is the Westminster Kiwanis Club. So for those of you that are not aware, this group has started very recently, and I have with us the president, Chris Pacey, to share a little bit about the Kiwanis Club. Again, I will go ahead and mute myself when I get started, but I want you guys to ask us questions and engage with us. I do see Jessica. Thank you for tuning in with me this morning. And I see Councilor Seymour. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for hopping on and giving us that message. So Chris, I'm going to mute myself. The floor is yours to get started, and then we'll take up any comments and questions.
All right, thank you, Juliet. We really appreciate it, and thanks for this opportunity to address and visit with some folks in the virtual world and talk about Kiwanis Club and what it's all about and what we're doing here in Westminster. Just a little highlight background on Kiwanis for those of you that are not familiar with it. It started in 1915 in Detroit, Michigan, so it's been around a long time as a service organization. My family has been involved in Kiwanis my entire life, so I'm very familiar with what it does and how it helps the youth and the communities across the country. Grew up in Illinois, and again, my family very involved, so I knew about it. When we moved here to Westminster 3 years ago, you know, a lot of people think everything happens for a reason, and I believe that. I'm sitting in my office. I had some to-do things I wanted to do there for the community, to get involved. I had some different organizations listed, some different efforts I wanted to get involved in. And I'm sitting here and some leadership people from the Kiwanis Club walk into my office. And we started talking, and it was just the right time, the right moment. And they asked me if I would help lead the efforts here in Westminster. So I was actually surprised there was not a Kiwanis chapter here in Westminster. So I immediately, agreed and said, yeah, let's get this going and help people in the community. So that's how that started. That was just a couple of years ago. Just a little bit about Kiwanis too. The global motto is saving the children of the world. So that's a broad statement, but that just kind of encompasses all of our efforts that we do. They're all centered around helping children through our various fundraising programs and help the youth in the Westminster community. So if you're someone out there who's looking for an effort, looking for some kind of a volunteer effort and wants to get involved in something, get a hold of me. We would love to have you. Again, we've only been around 2 years, and we're building our team. We've got 17 members now. We're building, and we need more for sure. And as most of you know, we have a lot of at-risk children here in the Westminster area that need our help. And that was before COVID hit. So imagine now the need is even more so now. So we really do need more people. And throughout this COVID, it's been hard for us really to get out and reach out and get more members in this virtual world, because nothing beats in-person meetings and get-togethers and happy hours and things like that to get people to come in, see what you're about, meet the team, meet the people, and say, hey, I want to get involved in this. So that's been a challenge for us, like I'm sure it is for most people out there. That's been a challenge. But that's had an adverse effect on our growth efforts. But again, if you're out there, you're looking for something, we have bi-monthly meetings by Zoom. We're hoping we can resume some in-person meetings here shortly, but right now that's where we are. Some of the efforts that we've supported recently, the Westie Front Porch Food Drive. We set up shop at the rec center 4 Saturdays in a row, and we collected truckloads of food from the community. And that I just want to shout out and thank everybody in the community. It exceeded my expectations by far. I really didn't know what to expect, but lines of cars just kept pulling up one after another and just dropping off food, and it was greatly appreciated and really kind of it's one of those things you think, man, I have a lot of faith in humanity when people really get together and do these things. So, and I'm sure that helped a lot of families who are in need right now, especially the youth. CASA, that's the Court Appointed Special Advocates for Children. We support their efforts, Sweet Dream in a Bag, A Precious Child, Urban Adventure Park, just some of the ones that we've supported here in the past and that we're going to support going forward. But we're looking for other ones too. So if anybody out there has some ideas of if there's an underserved effort, cause, organization out there that somebody knows about, please let us know about that. We'd love to get out and help. There's a lot of service organizations out there and they all do great work, and we want to be part of that too. And there may be somebody out there or some organization or effort that maybe just needs some more help, and we'd be glad to jump in and help with that. Julia, you asked how COVID affected us. Again, I kind of touched on that, but we do need more volunteers, and it has hurt us a little bit. So again, anybody has any questions or wants to call me or join one of our meetings, we'd love to share what we do. You can always go to Kiwanis.org. That really gives you an overview of what Kiwanis is really all about. I don't have enough time here today on this call to tell you all the things we do. And Julia, you were in the Key Club, I believe, so you kind of knew, you got background in that.
Yeah, so I'm going to hop right in. Yeah. Chris has given us some nice overview about the Kiwanis Club here in Westminster. I see a lot of folks that have tuned in with us. Misty, I see Tina. Good morning to you as well. We also have our past chairman, Brian Head, who shared a good morning message our way. If I can find it, I'll actually pull it up onto the screen. But thank you for hopping on here, Brian, and tuning into this message. I know you're involved with several nonprofits, and as a result, we're Citizen of the Year for 1 year through the city of Westminster. our current board chair, Brian Dice, sharing his message and note. Good morning to us both. So we have Chris Pacey. He is the president of the newly formed Westminster Kiwanis Club. As recent as the last couple of years that they have been working to build this group up to about 17 members that are now part of it. With COVID, that's kind of changed things from that in-person type of meeting settings. A lot of what they have been doing, I've captured from Chris's remarks into the comment section of this broadcast. So you can scroll through them and see kind of what they've done, from their porch pickup activities to partnering with several nonprofits in the area. And I know Chris is, I've met Chris and Tina as soon as they moved here. It was a couple of months actually after I had moved here myself. Both of us, have moved from a similar community. So coming here, we're just like, oh, this is a blank canvas, a lot of opportunity for us to really get ingrained in the community, because that's what we're all about. So it was nice to see this amazing dynamic couple that's really behind making a change here in the community. So Chris, we touch on the nonprofits that you are affiliating with, and you mentioned CASA, you mentioned A Precious Child, you briefly shared about the youth. So one would assume that the mission of Kiwanis relates to youth and child engagement. Is that accurate?
Right.
From this?
Yeah, everything focused on what we can do to help the youth in the community. And again, I kind of touched on that. We know there's a lot of at-risk children and underprivileged children in this area that are underserved and need more help. So we have, again, I can't list them all. It's all on the Kiwanis.org, but we have so many educational programs and food programs and after-school programs and different things embedded in some of the schools. And that's another thing, we'd like to get more reach in with the schools and the teachers and help where we can help them too. Again, we're so new right now. And again, it was 17 members. At this point, I projected we'd be more like at 35 members or something. But then with the COVID, that hampered us. But we need more volunteers, and we need more efforts, more opportunities for us to help in any way we can. So we're open right now. We're doing, but we're open.
Yeah, no, and I think that's terrific for you to have shared. A lot of membership organizations are in a similar position because we're so person-to-person oriented. So we're not having those one-on-one meetings and getting in touch. But it looks like you guys have overcome that by still doing a few different community activities. So tell me a little bit about that porch pickup. Was this an organized event through our community? Was it organized through Kiwanis? Do we know who was on the recipient end of this food that was being dropped off that you shared? Was an overwhelming amount that was dropped off through the drive-by feature at our Park and Rec Center?
Yeah, so that was the Westy Front Porch Food Drive is what that was. And we saw that in one of our members, J.R. Clanton, who's very involved and connected, brought that up at one of the meetings. Hey, why don't we support this Westy Front Porch Food Drive? What is it? And we just set up a space at the rec center. And Juliet, I apologize. I think the food went to a local food bank here, but I don't have my notes in front of me exactly where that ended up. All I know is it was truckloads, and it went. I believe it was somebody else on the line from Kiwanis may know that, might be able to type that in. Maybe Jessica knows. But we have pictures. We put the pictures on our Facebook. Again, it just overwhelming how much food people dropped off. But that was just part of. So that's a good point, Juliet. We bolt on to other community efforts, and we'll volunteer to man a booth somewhere, or say a watering station at a fundraising run, just different, just have a presence and help where people need volunteers is what it is. But again, we try to focus on the pieces that, again, help children in the long run. That doesn't mean we exclude other efforts out there that are going on. Anybody brings anything to us that they say, hey, we can use your help. Are you guys available? Can you help us? We'll definitely go to the meeting, and most likely right now we'll jump in and do whatever we can do for anybody.
Right. And I think that's terrific. I'll pull up the website that you mentioned. That's Kiwanis.org, where a lot of the resources are, and you can find more information about the local chapter. But Chris, you alluded to this in a couple comments. One is, as a civic organization with Kiwanis, we see this with Rotary and several others. There's an umbrella that you feed into. That being said, what kind of support has been there during COVID from the national umbrella? And can you expand a little bit about specific projects that maybe nationally that clubs try and align with?
Yeah, so that was in my that what's great is, again, trying to get other people to join or other organizations to ask us or help, and we reach out and see where we can help. But we, to leverage all those resources from our national organization, they have money. There's other chapters in the area of other cities, communities. They've been awesome. They step in. They knew we were new and we're trying to get going during this time, so they've dropped off checks to us from their fundraising efforts to help us with ours to get our club up and going and help in this community too. So it's just been it's just really fun to watch other people in other chapters. They're busy, they've got their lives, they've got their chapter, and they've got their efforts they're trying to, execute and move forward. And they're looking at us saying, hey, how can we help you too? So I guess to answer your question, the overarching, the global, the head Kiwanis main headquarters, they've got resources, they've got money that they can distribute to different ones that may need it. They've got all kinds of literature, school programs. It's just a lot of stuff. So it's good for people to know that we can leverage the main organization for pretty much anything we need to get to help but we want to really get this ramped up in Westminster specifically to do the same thing that they're doing great work in these other communities, neighboring communities. We want to leverage that and move that into the Westminster community as well. Oh, you're muted.
I know, I saw that little link pop up. It's like mute active. Well, totally went over my head. Yes, I'm in agreement with you. Let's build our Westminster community up and also support the surrounding ones where we can. So Chris, you mentioned this whenever you shared, I was plugged in with Key Club, proudly was in high school, and a variety of other nonprofits and volunteer organizations that I have my heart yielded to. But Key Club was a unique perspective because they are part of the Kiwanis family. So I want folks that are on here, if they have kids or if they themselves know of people that are in high school or exploring that type of program, how to a little bit understand both Key Club and Kiwanis relationship, if you can give them just kind of that sentence about that.
It's just, if there are any teachers or principals or anybody that knows any of them in the community, again, I'm kind of newer to the community, so I don't have those connections.
Oh, I'm giving you a question you don't know any answers to? That's okay.
No, I'm going to try to answer that. You could probably describe what the Key Club does better than I do. But what we do is we adopt, try to get embedded into the schools around the area again and get with people. And the Key Club helps students and get them involved. We had a really good meeting a couple of weeks ago, and there was a young student from one of the local schools came in and talked about what the Key Club did for her, and how what struck me is that she was on kind of a path. She really wasn't sure what she wanted to do or go forward in life and things like that. And as she got more involved in this and some of our help and programs we have, it just really added clarity to what she wanted to do in life and set her on a path now that I believe she's going to be very successful with what she does. But what struck me was there's so many distractions with young kids these days with the social media and all this stuff going on. And it's different than when I grew up. It's just totally different. So what happened was it gives a good structural, just an organization to mentor, have people to mentor them and learn from, and kind of help them get away from all that noise and think about, okay, what do I really want to do in the future? Trying to answer that question as best I can, but the Key Club it helps in that effort. I think
you're spot on actually with that. So I know I pitched you a question that I knew the answer to, but sometimes I do that because people don't like to hear me talk throughout this whole broadcast the whole time. The one thing I did enjoy about the Key Club, it's exactly what you were referencing. It's the character building. It's character building through providing community support, through serving, and through developing leadership skills. And so it mimics a lot of what we see with our civic organizations on a smaller scale with high schools. And then to have that interchange between Key Club and Kiwanis, it just goes hand in hand, because our Kiwanis umbrella supports a lot of youth. It supports that demographic while supporting the entire community, but primarily focusing on that age group and younger. It's a natural fit. And then the unique concept that I had no idea until you guys started was that anyone that's affiliated with Key Club automatically has their initial year covered with Kiwanis. So It is very embedded, and they look at not just the temporary while you're in high school, you're volunteering and that's it. They really want you to embrace these ideas, these principles and mission, and then continue that into whatever stage of life that you're in. And so I think that's amazing. You know, Brian Dice commented and shared, you know, thanks for everything your organization is doing. He's always been impressed with how generous the community is with helping to meet the needs. And I think, you know, you shared that a little bit earlier when we talked about the porch pickup and the dropping off of food and that positive inspiration that we're seeing, that there is still a lot of good in the community, right? Contrary to what we're seeing on TV sometimes.
Yeah, that can wear on you.
Right.
Just that Key Club piece, Juliet. So again, we're still new, building our team up to 17 now, trying to move forward. That was something on our agenda, was to meet with the principals of the various schools and the teachers and get that Key Club really ramped up and going in some of these schools here. And then COVID hit, everything's kind of been on hold. So that is definitely something on the agenda for us to do, is to get out and build relationships with these schools and really get that Key Club ramped up. That's a priority.
Yeah, and a lot of times people assume, you know, whenever you're joining these organizations, even Key Club, or, you know, that you're paying in a whole lot. And that's not necessarily the case.
No, I mean, as far as memberships and things you're talking about for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think our membership is $120 a year per person. And so it's not that big, but that's another thing we need to do. We've again, with the COVID and the things going on, that hampered our fundraising efforts. So we've got a lot of things on the list, on the docket, to ramp up all our fundraising efforts. So that's hurt a little bit too. So really we're counting on the membership dues and then other clubs around us helping us financially, and the main headquarters also financially. But yeah, it's not anything outrageous. And I just want to say too, I don't know how much time we have, but our group of 17, I mean, we've got a very diverse, it's just a great team of people. They all have various backgrounds and all kinds of different industries and businesses and volunteer work. We're all like-minded people in that we all really genuinely, sincerely want to help people in the community. And when we get together, it's fun we've got a whole list of all these different efforts we want to support. It's just fun to see the room just kind of light up. And when they talk about different ones, it's, yeah, we really need that. We need to help them. They're kind of underrepresented. Let's help them. And then, I think once we get through all this stuff and hopefully they resolve all this quickly, we've got a lot of work to do to reach out and ramp all these efforts up.
A lot of great work and a lot of great opportunity ahead of the curve. That being said, if somebody's tuned in, they're affiliated with a nonprofit or a project that's going on in the community that might need some help from our Westminster Kiwanis Club, who do they reach out to, Chris? So I can type that in for them.
You know what? Just reach out to me. And I'll give you my number. It's 303-460-8844. And just ask for me.
Okay.
You can send me an email if you want my email at kupacey@gmail.com. Yep, and the Kiwanis.org, just to learn more about it. But give me a call. I'll be glad to discuss with anybody, and I'll even meet you in person if you feel comfortable. We'll do that too.
Yeah, based on your
I'm a hugger and a handshaker, and this has been
hasn't it been terrible? It has been extremely hard. I'm right there with you, Chris. I walk up and then I have to pause, and I want to go for it, but I'm respectful and I know everything that's going on, so I pull back. But we're dying, us huggers.
Yeah.
This is not the ideal moment or season for us by any means.
I'm going to say one that I forget sometimes, like, no, can't do that.
Yeah, I'll pull back. No, never mind. So for folks that are interested in learning more about membership, if they have a project that they might need support with or are engaged with other nonprofits that need some additional support in our community, they can reach out directly to you, Chris. I've included your contact information, your phone number, and then your email into the comment section of this broadcast for them. That's available. Of course, the website is also included in the link. Kiwanis, again, has been around here in Westminster for about 2 years now. They have a robust officer slate. So it's not just Chris that's doing this, right? You've got a couple of other people that are with you in leadership roles.
Yeah, we've got a great group of people, and from other chapters even that have joined us. I don't know if anybody knows any, but John Litz and Timothy Shepard, Dom, we got Jessica Preston, J.R. Clanton. We've just got a good, like I say, it's a diverse group of people. We all have friends and other people we want to join, but again, trying to meet all in person just has been difficult.
It has been hard, but you're still doing Zoom meetings and you're still getting people together. And so if anyone's interested in either learning more about the club or hopping on a Zoom call, that is also still going on and is available for the foreseeable future until we get things changed up and open back up and there's that comfort level in connecting one-on-one together. But I appreciate you, Chris. You know, you did a fantastic job with giving us an overview of this nice civic organization that we have now started here in Westminster, which is exciting, that you guys are supporting our area youth and other nonprofits that are in need that do not necessarily align with your exact mission, but have that community-minded perspective. And I've typed those into the comment section of the broadcast so folks can see some of those organizations that they have tuned and supported before. And if you are just now hopping onto our broadcast, as I see a few new folks that are on here with us, make sure that you rewind and replay and watch kind of the information that was provided to you. If you found this to be beneficial, we want other people in your network to know about it, whether it's nonprofits in your network or kids that are looking to get involved in the other club, which is the Key Club that feeds into Kiwanis. If you're engaged in high schools or you just have youth of your own and have a passion for that, please let us know. Please share this in your network. And then if you watch this later on and we're no longer live, give us that hashtag replay. We always come back and answer. And if it's a question or comment that we haven't gotten to, we do our best to give you that comment or question later on. With that being said, if you haven't asked a question, you are uncomfortable with doing that in the chat function, please be sure that you DM it to us. We have Chris Pacey. He is the president of the Westminster Kiwanis Club. He shared kind of how they got started and going and where they have taken off to. In the last couple of years, it's a testament to see that you guys have 17 members, even with COVID, even getting it off the ground without anyone else around the area. It's a lot of work to get something started and going. And so,
it is, but it's fun. It's fun. It's hard to do it. I try to get 17 people to schedule a time and a day at this that works for everybody. It's hard, man.
Yeah, welcome to our world and shame. No.
That'll be hard.
You cannot please everybody, but you at least are available for some people, and everyone else can still engage in some capacity where it makes sense with their schedule. And I think that's the important piece, is that you don't have to be at every single thing, but where you need the hands or where you need the support, if it fits your schedule, then make it work.
Yep.
We're nearly at our 30-minute mark. So is there anything else, Chris? I mean, do you have a vision for what is going to happen with the club? Have they shared anything nationally with you all as it relates to COVID and resources to support you guys? Or have they kind of left each individual club on their own?
You know, the main chapter, they have their overarching umbrella efforts, and I kind of just described a little bit of that. And then we, you know, underneath each club supports those efforts, but really it's what the local community needs, because every community is different. Everyone has different needs, different situations. So our job or our mission is to just do whatever we can to help the youth in Westminster itself, using the resources from the main office and some of the efforts that they execute, like the Key Club and a lot of the school programs that we want to get ramped up there. We're going to do those, but at the same time, do all the things we can do for our people right here. Because again, we know there's a lot of at-risk children and families here, just right here in Westminster, that need our help, and we're ready to do that. We want to do that. But yeah, it's been hard. You think about a lot of the kids that with the school situations and things like that. A lot of these kids, the only place they get lunch and things like that are at the school. So those are some of the things that we're trying to focus on. And again, if anybody has any ideas, please shout them out, send them to me, email, call me, whatever, and let me know, hey, there might be something we don't even know about. We'd love to pass on and see if we can help make a difference.
Absolutely. So a couple of things, you referenced right now about kids and meals and generally how that was through the schools. It led me to think about something I just saw from the Women's Alliance that was pushed out, that in response to the families, there was a Families First Act for COVID-19 to provide food for families and children that have been hit hard during the pandemic. And even though this resource is available, it actually has not been fully claimed. There's over $32 million that are available for people to access, but they have to apply before the deadline. So the deadline on that is September 23rd to apply. And it's really families that are in Adams, they're in Arapahoe, if they're in Boulder, Denver, Douglas, Jeffco, they can receive up to $279 per child. And that's really, the funds are earmarked to help them put food on the table, but it's for anyone that generally would have been eligible for those free or reduced meals from the schools. So again, I would encourage anybody, thanks for mentioning that, it sparked that in my head, and I was like, oh, I need to let people know. I'll include the link for folks in the chat function right now so people can see that as well. And if you all want to help with spreading the word through your lens as Kiwanis Club members, and let folks know that are in your network that might be needing the food and don't have access to it. The deadline is approaching, but there's so much money that's in there that is going to be going to waste. So,
hey, Julie, I have a question for you. So, I know a lot of the community events and things that we were going to get involved were canceled and postponed and things like that. Is there a resource that shows where maybe there's new dates for some of these things? And
yeah, so long story short, most of the events have not been coming back to us in the same fashion. So if it's our city type of events, like the Harvest Fest, for example, that was canceled. That's not going to come back, to my knowledge. Now, our Park and Rec department has done a phenomenal job in coming back with some community type of events. In fact, I think yesterday they had a outdoor theater that was set up for people to bring their kids and watch the movies outdoor, and they'll be using some outreach modalities to basically get out in specific parts of the community over the next several months. So that is something that they're doing. The City of Westminster has their specific events listed on their sites. As far as the chamber, our website, the westminsterchamber.biz, anytime someone submits community events, whether it's a business or something that's happening in the community, that's generally on there as well, as we're notified of it. So I would point people to the Westminster Chamber events calendar as well. I talked to you before I hopped on here and I said, you know, we have our gala, and that's going to be a week from tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow's broadcast, I will be boiling down everything that we're doing. I already talked about it a week ago, but I'm just psyched because I finally started getting everything in, so I can look through it and talk to people about that. But anyway, so for the most part, people are looking at continuing this virtual type of activity or outdoor component events that are a little bit smaller than attracting those larger tourism activities that we generally would have received before.
Good.
Yeah. So before we wrap out, because we're over our 30-minute mark, believe it or not, if you have any questions, reach out to Chris. So whether it's about Kiwanis or any projects or anything else that you believe that he can help you with, because he is very community-minded and supportive of a lot of people and what their hopes and goals are. That being said, we are at our 30-minute mark, so we do have to close out. Tomorrow is our live broadcast at 11 a.m. I gave you a sneak preview. It'll likely be me talking about the gala. I might bring in somebody else so you're not bored of me. But also keep in mind that we have a ribbon cutting that's today. So it's today at 1 o'clock over at Horizons North Credit Union. That's off on Huron. If you are free for that 30-minute window from 1 to 1:30, please come out and support the HNCU. They have just expanded into Westminster. They used to be in Northglenn. They have actually moved their location to Westminster onto a site that's huge and amazing. And so we'll be supporting them with a ribbon cutting at 1 o'clock today. Details are on the Westminster Chamber events page. They're also on this Facebook events category tab. So hope to see you guys. If you have any questions, type it in for us and we'll get to it at a later point. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. And of course, Chris, thank you for taking some time to talk with me back and forth.
Thank you.